You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello, how are ya?
We may have Niall later. We don't know for sure. But there is me, Brian. So it's not just Dwayne here on his own. Covering the anime that aired the week of September 28th to October the 4th. That doesn't sound right. That's last week's dates.
Did I get the dates wrong?
No, I got the dates wrong. Don't worry
okay.
about that. No, this is Saturday, the 5th of October to Friday, the 11th of October.
You can be forgiven for forgetting
Brian.
because it was a lot of fucking anime, to be fair. Like, I missed a bunch of these because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about the other 20 things that we were watching. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them weren't even translated into English. I just had to make the best guess as what happened. But that's okay because it was about a cat, a man who got turned into a cat. Ranma one half though, that's on Netflix. No problem here. It's all this season's finished. It's ready to go. Quality should remain fairly consistent throughout, and it's called opens with an episode called "Here's Ranma." So there's these two martial arts schools, and their dads have decided to unify the schools by marrying the son of one to one of the daughters of the other.
The one guy's got 3 daughters, and a girl can continue the martial arts tradition. I mean, like, one of them definitely is trying to, but yeah.
Yes. So this is the Saotome family and the Tendo family. And the Tendo, the head of the family of the Anything Goes school, martial arts school, is waiting for his good friend Genma to show up with his son so that he could marry one of his daughters off to him. And instead, a red-haired girl and a panda shows up.
Close enough. That'll do.
Yeah, so it's the opening 2 chapters of Ranma Half. It introduces you to all the Tendo family and the Saotome family. And the reason why there's a panda and red-haired girl is because Genma took Ranma to train in these cursed springs in China. Didn't really listen to what the guide was telling them. They fell into 2 cursed pools, and now whenever one gets, what's the correct way round? It's hot water turns them.
Hot water turns them into their regular
Reverse,
forms,
yes,
a dad and a son.
And
cold water turns them into a panda and a girl, respectively.
Yes.
They're still them. Like, it's still like the voice has changed, and because one just starts making panda noise and the other one is now a girl. But he's still a he, and I was trying to make up a joke of like, is this where the origin of gender fluid came from? Ho ho ho. But like, I hadn't actually watched any Ranma. I kind of know it more like Reputation, that kind of shit. So it was kind of fun to see this version of it, and I do appreciate. This is the one that kind of like, they don't try and set it in the present day. It's like sometime in the 1980s. It's just like, there we go. That's that. Yeah, that covers it. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, they've not tried to do the Euroscience era thing of like going,
everyone gets mobile phones or something. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so we've got the oldest daughter, Kasumi, who is the nice one. Nobiki is the greedy one, and Akane is the one who actually practices martial arts, and is the one who's Ranma's age, and so therefore the sisters decide that she's going to be the one to marry this boy they've never met.
See, they're initially the kind of sisters like, we're going to marry a boy we've never met. That seems a bit weird. And the oldest one is like, I hope he's not like younger than me. That's kind of weird. I don't want like an age gap thing going on. And the sister's like, I hate boys and I want to do martial arts. So they're like, perfect. It turns out the boy, if the marries a girl. So, I mean, like, that works out great for us. Initially quite happy with the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of sort of slapstick and no nipples this time.
Yeah. Hey, it might be set in the 80s, but that doesn't mean that it's just like the 80s and we can do nipples on screen.
It's weird. It's weird because there's a gag. There's a gag
where she takes the shampoo bottle and there's another shampoo bottle behind it. I was just like, that's good, but they could have done something else like that, you know. Yeah.
Yes, because that felt like this is a meta gag about how we're not going to be as heavy on the nudity this time by hiding doing that the old Austin Powers Evangelion gag of removing a bottle and there's another bottle behind the bottle. And then Ranma just walks in completely topless, striding around, but with no nipples. I was like, okay, that's how they're getting around it, I guess. And I've been rereading the comic from where this season will end. Because I was like, I can't remember how far in it I got. And I was like, and now I'm reading it, I was like, God, there's going to be a lot of missing nipples in this series. Because I'd forgotten, like, how seemingly more confident Ranma is when he's in the female form than his actual male form.
Yeah, like nearly
It's
more
never
shy
an issue
topless
to
as a
him.
guy than he is topless as a girl. Yeah, it's
It's never an issue for him going forward that he's been turned into a woman. There's problems, but him in his own body, he's fine with switching between the two, and deliberately will at later points in the plot.
Yeah, as it suits him.
Yes. So yeah, it's all the other characters who have issues with it more than he does. Yeah, this is just the introduction. It sets all the characters up, sets the thing up. I saw some people who said they didn't like the arranged marriage thing. I was like, it's two idiots. It's two idiots arranging this. You're not supposed to think this is a good idea.
The way it's presented is these two dads are fucking stupid. Like it's not supposed to be a good idea. All the daughters like, that's a terrible idea. Ranma's like, I don't want to do this either. And one of the things was like, you went to a haunted springs to fucking train because it's a dangerous martial arts training thing, because if you fall in the water you turn into a panda or a girl, or there were so many other things you could have fallen into to turn into different things. That's the
and people will have
yeah, that's the thing, obviously. But like the idea like that a guidebook falls out of his pocket when he turns into a panda again, it's like, wait, this is like the Chinese guide to explaining that this is a cursed spring. It's like, you don't read Chinese, do you? And you know, the panda agrees in as much as a panda can. It's kind of like that's really funny, because it's like you went to a cursed spring not knowing it was a good martial arts training thing, because falling in the water is a bad idea, but you didn't know why it was a bad idea. That's bad. They're stupid. They're idiots. They're morons. These are not the actions of sensible people. This is a comedy. That's how those tend to work.
Yes. And I rereading the comic, I'd forgotten just like how just aimed at doing gags it is. And
yeah,
I was like, I think I know one of the reasons I fell off, and I'm not sure if I'll run into this problem this season. I think this season I seem to think I like all the stories.
Yeah.
But you will, as the comic goes along, I'm finding there'll be a story. I go, this story's not very good, and then it'll pass 3-4 chapters, and there'll be another story, and then it'll be, this was pretty good. It's a little uneven because there is no ongoing plot.
It's just shenanigans, basically.
Yes, we'll do some shenanigans with the set amount of characters we've got, and then we'll introduce a new weirdo. And then
I mean, this could easily be like a sitcom, essentially, because it's just like, here's a situation. He turns into a boy under these conditions, a girl under these conditions. He's going to marry one of these girls. But other than that, it's just like Two's company. Are we going to resolve anything? No, it's just dicking around. Don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah, and it looks very good. It's gone for like deliberately evoking the manga more by having like visual sound effects appear on the screen with the characters like they're in a panel of a comic.
Yeah, and they do a couple of nice like old-fashioned things, like, because obviously the animation is a lot better. Like I thought the martial arts stuff actually worked quite well. Very like readable kind of moves and everything. But it did that thing like the first time I remember it happening, but like I've seen many things do it since. The sextuplets. Good lord, I can't remember the name of it.
Osamatsu.
San, where they kind of like color in black as purple to show like the aging of the old fucking cartoon. And I was like, yeah, it does that kind of thing. And I was like, just some nice kind of hints to it, but other than that, like much higher production, obviously.
Yeah, I mean the original looks nice because it's using sweet embezzled Kitty Records money that shouldn't have been going onto cartoons. But they messed around with the order of chapters and stuff, and it had like an aborted start and then had to restart again with a new name. And it doesn't quite capture the comedy of the comic, and this seems to so far. And I think they've talked about how they want to do the entire comic. I looked at how much there is of it. I was like, I don't think you're gonna get that far, because I think you're only doing 36 chapters this season, and I think there's 400 chapters or so, 40 volumes of the comic.
Right. Okay. Good luck, lads.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be a massive hit for Netflix, and I'll let them keep on doing it over and over again. But for the time being, I think I'll be happy with these initial 12 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, like it seems like
based
it's
on
going to
this
be
one.
a lot of fun. I'm kind of curious to see how like the kind of, because it's way more a thing now than it was. I mean, not that it didn't exist, but it's way more a conversation thing, like transness and whatever is gonna be viewed that way, because it's like it's not about that, guys. It's about digging. It's
No,
you could be happy that people are entirely comfortable. Like Ranma is very comfortable with the situation somehow. He's just like, "Eh, this is my life now. What are you gonna do?"
yeah,
Which is nice, but like it's not about that. This is the thing. But I'm
yeah,
curious as to how people are going to react to it that way.
yeah. I'm guessing Ranma's comfortableness in his own body is why people reacted to it positively,
Yeah.
even though most of the characters are like, two girls kissing, two boys kissing, throughout. But at the same time, it is a Rumiko Takahashi story, and so everybody is horrible. There are
Yeah.
no nice people in this series.
It's watching a bunch of assholes like fuck shit up for themselves and each other. That's kind of the purpose of it as a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. Then far away from comedy, it's all on the movements of the Earth. Episode 1, heliocentrism. How about that? How about it indeed? So this is one of these. There's actually a lot of them this season. One of these adaptations of a manga which is finished. And I think this is going 2 cours, if I remember correctly, which I think suits it well because I think it's like separated into 2 sections, like Sengoku Youko is. So we're definitely not in Poland. We're in P Kingdom. And we're definitely not talking about Catholicism. We're talking about sea religion.
Sure.
It just happens that the sea religion tortures and burns at the stake heretics who declare that the Earth revolves around the sun.
Yeah, that's not a thing from history or anything. So
Definitely, yeah. Anything is purely coincidental. Any resemblance between this and things which happened in history. So our hero at the start here is Rafal. He's 12 years old. He's about to go to university, and he governs his life by rationality. He's looks like he was adopted by a priest because he used to be homeless, a homeless orphan. And at 12, yeah, he's the best kid in the school, but he likes to look at the stars, and so his father says, "You got to stop looking at these stars when you go off to study theology at university. You got to put an end to this."
They don't like that in the church.
But can you stay after school? Because I've got a job for you. So he stays after school, and he says, "A friend of mine's coming into town, and I need to go pick him up and bring him to the house." My friend Hubert, and Raphael's like, "Isn't he the guy who got arrested for being a heretic?" He said, "Yeah, don't worry. He renounced that, so he's just coming." So he goes and picks him up. On the way there, there's some heretics being burnt in the street, and we see Novak, who's this inquisitor who we opened the episode with, seeing him torture somebody by pulling their fingernails out, who's complaining that these people aren't burning to death quick enough for his liking. So he goes and picks up Hubert. He's a guy with a cane. He's wearing a robe over his head, and you can see there's some scarring on his chin. And they sort of walk back. They have a conversation. He notices he's got is it the astrolathe? Is that what it's called? Like the little plate that you pull open so you can look at the skies.
God, yeah, the thing for navigational purposes. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah.
They just start talking about astronomy, and then he's like, "Okay, you got to help me. I'm doing my research." He's like, "Didn't you renounce this?" No, I just pretended so they'd let me go. And you're going to help me. And he goes, "Now I'm going to blackmail you," and pins him against the wall, brings out this giant metal spike and holds it against his throat. And says, "If you tell anybody about me carrying on my things, I'm going to kill you. If you don't help me, I'm going to kill you." He runs all through all these things. He's going to kill him. But he knows from the conversation, he's like, this kid, he's into the same stuff I know. So I'm going through the motions here, but I know once I get him into it, he's just going to go along with it anyway. Because then Raphael goes off and goes, I'm not going to go and see him. I'm going to tell my dad. I'm going to turn him in. I'm not going to go and see him. I'm not going to go and see him. I'm not going to. And then cut to the pair of them out on top of a hill looking at the stars.
Okay.
And then they have a conversation, and it's like, "What do you about what? How do you think the universe works, or the galaxy, or the sun and the Earth and the moon works?" He goes, and then he eventually goes, "Oh no, that's not how it works. The only thing we're seeing here, everything we're seeing in the sky is static. The only thing moving is the thing we're standing on." And then we get the final line, I think, is the title of the episode about what they're going to call this, and he goes, "Heliocentrism," I think. And so, yes, this 12-year-old boy, because of his love of astronomy, is being lured into becoming a heretic by this scarred old man, tortured old man,
I'm
friend
gonna have
of
to
his
check
dad.
this out. This does sound kind of like my jam. Just the idea of being like lured into scientific truth, the way you might get lured into drugs or something.
Yes,
like
it's very much
yeah,
like
that sounds
it.
good.
And the music is really good because it's not what I was expecting at all. It's really, for a story which involves a lot of torture and people being burned to death, there's still a lot of fun in it, which I was quite surprised by. Next on the docket is One Piece, episode 1121, Garp and Kuzan, and Master and Pupil's Beliefs Clash. In which we get the first bit of a great animation is Garp punching Sanwan when he wakes up. He's annoyed at all the noise, and then he punches him, and I forgot that he punches him not just down, but off his feet and into the ocean. And they're like, "Oh my goodness, he's going to drown. We've got to drag him out." And then the other pirate's like, "How? He's the largest man on the planet." And then the drunk guy shows up, and Shiryu shows up, invisible, goes to stab Kobe, but Garp runs in the way and gets stabbed instead. And then we go into like then Kuzan shows up, and we get like the flashback where the animation starts picking up again of the what do they call it? The battleship bags when they're punching.
Battleship heavy bags or something. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yes. Yeah. And he like skips over the generations of like Kuzan demanding to be trained by Garp, and then him coming back after O'Hara and going, what does justice mean? And then later Garp going in, and then Garp responding goes, "I don't know, my son's a revolutionary." And then he comes in later when he's been made an admiral, going, "Oh, God damn it, my grandson wants to be a pirate. I've got a son who's a revolutionary, and a grandson who wants to be a pirate." And then immediately flips and he goes, "Oh, do you want some snacks and a drink?" Yeah, and then we get the big fight, and then at the end, Pizarro is like, "Blackbeard this, Blackbeard that. We want to be remembered as well." So I would let the world know that Pizarro destroyed this team of young Marines as they tried to led by Garp, trying to save the hero Kobe. And then it's the hand so Garp's on the ground, dying, telling Kobe, "You got to stop that giant hand. It's time to step up, kid." And so that's what he'll be doing. And then we'll be taking many months off until April before he comes back.
For bit of a cliffhanger, but okay.
Yes. But we've got another episode next week. I think we'll get this bit resolved. Yeah, there's some fun, like super loose animation in the second half, particularly in the flashbacks where it looks like people have been allowed to go wild on facial expressions and things. I'm curious as what the show's going to look like when it comes back, but we can discuss that more next week when we've had the last one for the time being.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about that because them doing the high definition episodes is like, are they going to like up the animation for it proceeding into the future, that kind of way?
Or whether they'll change the pacing, or whether they'll start doing a Demon Slayer Dr. Stone approach where we come back for a few months and then we go away again.
You're fairly like they're very close to up to date in the anime to the comics now, so they kind of like they need to like put bigger gaps in right now. Yeah.
Then it's on YouTube. It's got no subtitles, but Mecha-Ude, the guy that got reincarnated as a cat, episode 1. So there's a cat. He goes, "Oh my goodness, I'm a cat. I was an old guy." Well, this is pretty good. Oh no, there's my boss. He's going to bully me. Like he doesn't work. And then the boss comes up to him and goes, "Oh, what a cute cat. Oh, you lovely." He goes, "Oh, my boss isn't bullying me." That's the gist of what I got from the 90-second cartoon we've got here.
Okay. If it's that short and that understandable despite like no subs, I should probably check that out.
Then Godzilla raids again. Episode 27 of season 2. Robot monster invasion. Here's Gigan.
Man, Gigan's always one of my favorites because I mean, like, this Chibi version does not have the buzzsaw on his belly, but he's just a great looking monster. Yeah,
He is. I don't know how he picks things up with those hands.
Hooks him. He's got a little hook at the end. He's here to reveal the actual plot that's been happening this whole time, which is that Chibi Mecha-Godzilla is actually meant to invade and destroy Monster Island society from within. And so he's asking them to join all the robot monsters, to which they have multiple things to say that no, he shouldn't. And Chibi Gigan is like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fair.
Yes, he's very accepting of a reasonable argument.
He's a robot. He's perfectly logical.
He's not given up. He'll be back next week. Then we've got, I didn't watch this, even though I was the one who was vouching for it. Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School, episode 1. Welcome to Hyakki Academy.
It's very funny to me because I was like, that's one of the notes I wrote down. It's like Gravedale High, but no Rick Moranis. So what's the fucking point? Yeah. It's like, he got bullied at the first day of a regular school, like became a shut-in for a year, is the teacher, and then got hired to this other school. Turns out it's a school for monster children, and he is still like just this like milquetoast, like very easily bullyable teacher. But it turns out these kids, despite seeming rough and literally being yokai, they're all right. Also, he has like a uniform fetish, but as a little chibi version of him comes in, it's like, it's not a sex thing. I just think they're adorable. I think uniforms are adorable, not just on girls, on the boys as well. And it's like, that doesn't help your case, bro. It's weird. I don't like it. I'm not going to watch any more of it. I could watch freaking Gravedale High. I could watch Akuma-kun. I could watch something this premise, but better. You know, that kind of way.
Yes. And that you're including Gravedale High as being better.
Yeah, it's got Rick Moranis. That improves it. That improves it significantly.
Sengoku Youko, episode 24, regarding the Thousandfold chaotic menagerie. So the Mountain God wants a word about this gourd. Hand it over.
Hey, that thing sucks magic out of the land. On the land. Give me that. I don't want you sucking the energy out of my mountain no more.
She won't give it up, so I'm going to have a fight. And notably, the Mountain God was like, "Oh, I'll eat you to recover my energy." This will be important because somebody's got a theory on people eating humans later on in the episode.
And so she's kind of, I hate to say rescued. I'm more like kidnapped by the possessed. I've forgotten the blonde guy's name.
It's like Taizen or something.
Yeah. By the currently again brainwashed by your man's old master Taizen. He's like, well, we'll get the fuck out of here. And she's initially like seeming very threatening, and I was like, oh shit, she's gonna murder them right here. And she's like, no, I got really fucked up by getting kicked in the gut by a dragon. That was entirely bluster. I'm gonna lie down for a minute.
Yes. It's all up to you, Senya. You got to fight this person, this person, this person, this person.
It was very funny that Senya's still there while all this shit's happening. He's like, okay.
Yes. Him and Now are still sat there at the end of all this. So, and then he's wandering off going, is that really the way of dealing with this? Is just fighting people? Is that all I'm useful for?
Yeah, that seems to be the opposite of the whole thing I was trying to do, of win people over with fun. I mean, like, I guess his failure was it didn't work on his dad. So it's like, is fighting really the answer? Surely we can learn a better way. Yeah, well.
Yeah, the Mountain God's assistant takes him to Yazen, who then fills him in on how to deal with Jinka, but I think this is all happens off screen to us.
Yeah.
We go and check in with everybody else.
It's kind of funny that your man kidnapped him, not to take him away from a little boy or anything like that, but like, because he just meets him outside the mountain. It's just like, hey, we were just waiting for you here. Like, this is the edge of the mountain, which is a very brave move considering we know that fucking mountain can move. So, yeah.
Yeah, we check in with Shinsuke, who's... So, essentially what is happening is Senya and Tsukiko, when they beat up the monsters, they bring them back to the village, who then they get put in a hole until they decide they don't want to eat humans anymore.
It's like it'd be like in any other fucking thing. This would be like a fighting hole that only the strongest monster comes out of. But they put one monster in a hole, and he kind of walks in as a human. He's like, "Hey, are you going to eat people?" He's like, "No, I'm not going to eat people anymore. Now to eat you," and gets slapped by the Kyo local deity kind of thing. And he's like, "Oh fuck, sorry, okay, sorry." And he's like, "Here, eat this rice ball. It's much tastier than human." He's like, I'm so hungry." He's like, "Actually, that is pretty fucking good." It's like, yeah, see, and you don't. The more you eat human food and regular shit, the more you don't want to eat humans. And actually, there's a bunch of monsters living in the village. It's cool, man. Like, he's converting them to not being man-eaters, essentially.
Yes. Is Hanatora wanting to convert him into being a proper immortal? Because she's soft on him, is the impression we get here.
Yeah, like, but we know she kind of gets obsessed with humans now and again from the last one that she turned into a sword. So yeah.
Yes. So that's what they're doing. Eventually, everyone comes back to town with some more monsters, which we don't see them capture.
They get captured on the way from the last scene to this scene. It's a real funny thing. And he's like, "Oh god damn it, more monsters! I gotta dig more holes now to put the monsters in."
And then the guy who used to be the castle.
Yeah.
When he gets here, he manages. He's not being possessed 100% of the time. So when he's not possessed, he takes the opportunity to connect to the ley lines and become a regional god again. And now this frees Shinsuke and your other lad from being regional gods, and they can now leave again.
I think he accidentally like puts his hand on Shinsuke's shoulder, and it's like, whoa, and it's like, oh, now you're the local deity, and they can go wherever the fuck they want.
Yes, because this is the very last.
Because his family are here now, so he'll probably just live here.
You seem ready to leave immediately. Yes, this is the last thing, because this is the thing of like the old master stuck in his body. He's like, God damn it, I'm stuck here now. And then he starts eyeing up Hanatora as like, oh, I'll leap into her body instead. And that's how it ends. Because what they're going to do is they're going to head off, and both sides, include the Void people, have also had this plan, or rather the new guy who doesn't seem like 100% on the same team as the other two people.
Like, the other two are the ineffectual Team Rocket is like, well, we'll try the same thing again. If it doesn't work this week, we'll try it again next week. Whereas this one is like, no, I got a plan. I got a dragon. They're like, yeah, actually, you're much better at this than us.
He feels like a consultant somebody's brought in.
Yeah, to sort out this shit. And they're very happy with the whole, we got a dragon now. That's pretty sweet. And his plan now, as is our hero's plan, is like, remember that big fucking cloud guy? We could fly that over the island and like fucking drop on the cunt. I think it's the vague plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get like a map of the ley lines to see where everybody can go. So that's where they're heading off. Next week, presumably, both sides are going to try and capture, convince, cajole that floating cloud person to become their mobile battle center.
Because I guess it's the local deity that is literally a cloud and therefore can go wherever the fuck he feels like as a cloud can. Yeah.
Yep, pretty good. That's normal. Not much more to add. Dan to Dan, episode 2. That's a space alien, ain't it? Tell me about this, because I've not watched it for a few weeks.
God. That's terrible, fucking relying on me to remember what the fuck happened. I like the way it immediately starts at the end of the last episode where she's kind of like, "Nuh-uh, I'm not calling you that. That's fucked up. I'm not going to say that thing. Don't say that you're an awkward fellow. You're not allowed to say that either. I'm going to call you was it Oka run, isn't it? Or
Yes, it
Oka-kun.
is. Yeah.
Where, because you're like tagging into aliens and shit like that, and he's like, "We're not using your name." He's like, "But that's my name." I was like, "Nope, no, 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 no. I'm not falling in love with you this quick into the fucking show. No way." Um, so yeah, she's taking him back to her grand's place, and he can't get in the, is it the Hattori gates, the big gates, because it has like a little seal on it that wards off evil,
Yes.
and he's possessed. So that means he sets on fire immediately, trying to pass the gates. Um, so tearing that off, forgetting to put it back up, very importantly. And kind of walking in, she's trying to find her grand. Grand's out, and it's kind of like, okay, that's bad. And wouldn't you know it, the entire house and fucking thing has been abducted, I guess, for the lack of a better term, because now there's giant stone walls like surrounding all of it, and it's actually going through the gates, so he can't leave. And that's important because there is a fucking alien monster thing here, and they can't put the seal back up because that would set fire to our boy and the monster at the same time, and he can't leave. It's like, So the conundrum they find themselves in is running away from a giant sumo wrestler. It is the not the backwoods monster.
The Flatwoods monster.
That's it. I couldn't think of the name of it. But it is essentially a giant sumo wrestler, which it takes them like a good deal of the episode to realize, wait a minute, he's using the rules of sumo. Can we use this against him? By trying to get him to have his hands touch the ground, which means he loses. He cheats by growing an extra pair of feet, which she's very annoyed by and is just super badass about. Like this, like getting fucked up by this guy, like getting like slammed into the wall repeatedly to make a divot, which is plan B to, I'm just gonna let myself get possessed and like take bites out of the fucking guy. And this is the first pseudo possession I think we get. It's the cool design with the granny's teeth kind of thing as a mask, but I love the contrast where it's like it's done in black and white, and the only splashes of color are the red kind of parts on his possession. Really fantastic look. And also, I think it plays really well of the, oh, what a cool guy, what a cool design, what a cool power. Also, he's just really depressed and like, just I don't want to do any of this shit. Because that personality kind of trait takes over when he's in this form, which is very unheroic and very not cool. It works so well, yeah. But yeah, it's really good. Like, I think it does a really good job of just changing, just that color palette change and everything. Like, does a really good job. And the Flatwoods monster, because it's I think entirely CG. It looks better in the black and white than it would necessarily in color, contrasted with these well animated other characters. Yeah.
Also during this, we discover that Okuran's dick has been stolen.
Sorry, yeah. That's the other thing. I did like the thing of like she has to change with the door opened in her bedroom, because if she closes the door, she starts getting possessed. She needs to keep visual contact to keep her powers on him, so he doesn't think. So it's like the awkward teen thing. It was like, oh my god, we like each other, but I guess we have to change. Oh no. And also, yeah, his dick is gone, like just like the granny said. And just her thing of like, come on, let me look. That sounds fucking hilarious. He's like, no fucking way. It's like a Ken doll down there. I hate it.
Yeah, and the other outcome is he's got a new haircut by the end of the episode.
Yeah, a better character design is the other result. It's nice. It's a wavy look. It looks good.
And then she faints and he turns into Menagerie. And that's your cliffhanger. What's going to happen next week? Well, it tells you in the preview.
Yeah, it's granny on granny action.
Yes. Then I said I wasn't going to watch it, but I was tempted, and I'm pleased I did. It's Kinokoinu, Mushroom Pup, episode 2, Kinokoinu and Hanako.
By the end of this fucking season, which we're probably going to watch the show now because it's very good, we're going to be able to fucking pronounce that, because I also struggle.
Yes. I love that it brings in a guy from the university who's into, well, both these books and mycology, because they're going to look at this weird mushroom dog from a scientific point of view.
It's so good because obviously his I think she's his editor, or yeah, because they talk about like the senior editor and that kind of thing, editor, that kind of thing. She's like, we need to get a mushroom expert in on this because it's weird that you have a mushroom dog now. It's a weird fucking thing. So she brings in this guy, and I love the thing of your man's like, oh, I guess having a mushroom dog means I'm not fucking other weird things do not phase me anymore because this guy is like at least 6 foot tall, right? Because his haircut, which is a yellow mohawk with buzz sides with blue with white spots on the buzz sides. That's his haircut, and it keeps getting like jammed into the fucking door frame. So he's huge, as far as I can tell.
And also, he's instantly in love with him.
Like his opening thing, I was like, oh yeah, that's a really weird dog. It looks like this kind of mushroom. So when's our first date? And your man's like, what? It's like, oh, sorry, I'm going too fast. I've fallen madly in love with you instantly. And he's just like, okay. This is, and it's like I prefer to just start as friends, so we could start as friends and then develop a relationship after. That's great. But this guy is so deadpan in how he says all of this shit. It's very funny. It's a great fucking other because the opening is like it's just the two characters, the author and the editor and the dog. And I was just like, is this going to be these guys? It's like, no, they have a couple of other weirdos in their pocket, which is nice. And this guy is definitely one of them. He does know his shit about mushrooms though, because that was a thing that was bugging me about the mycology fucking like mycelium network. It was just like that's what a mushroom is. It's the network of
yeah. Maybe just wanted to go out. What it is like maybe just wanted to go have a look around the world. Something like those lines. Also, he started eating bread when in the first episode. All he needed was watering.
But now he's eating his limited amount of I think it's like a melon loaf or something like that. Looks nice, but
yes,
that was my last one, bro. Come on.
And this was a bread that the dog was always the dead dog was always trying to eat when it was alive.
Yeah.
And then they take it for a walk, and then they start pondering.
Does it need to walk for one? Because it is a mushroom.
Yes.
And he's like, well, it took the form of a dog, and dogs like walks, so you know.
He has a memory of his dead dog, and then the mushroom sees him having a memory of his dead dog and kicks him down a hill, thinking he's depressed again.
It's so good because the memory's clearly like, you know, he's tearing up a bit. It's like, wow, I remembered that when my parents died and I was like distraught as a child and my dog just wanted to go for a walk. Because my dog didn't know shit that was going on. It was just so silly. It was like the dog, like, because it doesn't understand these human shit that's going on around it. It allowed me to fucking live. And that's why I love that dog. Like, yeah.
Specifically a memory from the previous episode he was having differently, where he was in the first episode he was remembering, oh yes, my dog, because he knew I was sad and was trying to cheer me up, and then we see in this one it's like, no, that was just me anthropomorphizing it.
It didn't have a fucking clue it was a dog. It was just like, I'd like a walk now. Like it was a dog coming over to comfort him when his parents had died, but it had the lead in its mouth, and it's like, come on, let's fucking go. And it was just like, yeah, that's what I fucking needed, actually. That got me out of myself, and it allowed me to recover from my parents' death and everything like that. And he's like, wow, what a fucking beautiful memory. And the fucking mushroom pup going like, you fucking depressed again, kicks him down a fucking hill. That's good, man. That's very good.
Because the mushroom dog is doing the same thing to him that he did to his own dog previously.
Yeah.
It's like we can't quite understand each other because we're not the same species. And then, oh my goodness, I've been ambushed for this magazine interview, and there's a photographer. I said I wouldn't have a photographer.
And it's especially bad because he has injuries from being kicked down a fucking hill.
Yes. And he has to hide the mushroom pup, but he sneaks into the photo. And so when the magazine comes out, the mushroom pup takes it and puts it. Well, I assume he was going to remove before he got caught. I assume he was going to remove Hanako's
the picture of the previous dog, Hanako. Yeah, he's like, get this dog out there. That dog's fucking dead. I'm the new mushroom dog. And yeah, and again, we have our mycology expert like commenting on a load of this because he's trying to woo this fucking this author.
Maybe my photo will be on there one day too.
Yeah, maybe I should sneak my photo up there is the thing he's thinking, because it's just like, oh, the mushroom pup just wanted his photo up there. It's like, oh, if that dog's up there, then I should be up there as well. That's how this should work. That is like, there is what they're assuming. Again, they're anthropomorphizing a dog mushroom, so like we don't entirely know what it wants.
Yes, it's the indignant look he gets on his face when they misunderstand his intentions at the end is very funny. Did you spot the other character?
Fuck, I didn't. No, is
No,
the
I
other
didn't
mushroom?
either. No, it's the girl, the schoolgirl who's with the other mushroom in the. Oh, that's worrying my monitor. Oh, there we go. Who's holding the hands of the purple mushroom dog in the promotional thing.
Okay.
As they're walking along, as he rolls down the hill, there's a bush in the background, and there's a girl. It's hidden in the bush. I didn't see it until someone else pointed it out.
Ah, that's good shit. Okay.
It's
They'll
much more
probably
hidden.
focus on that when it shows up. Yeah.
It's much more hidden than what they were doing in Astronaut. It's like you would
Mm.
you unless someone pointed it out to you. I don't think you'd have to be eagle-eyed or freeze framing everything to even spot she was there. So yeah, I assume she's wondering what's going on with this mushroom dog if she's got one as well. I noticed that he's got rid of his mohawk on the promotional poster as well.
Oh man, I love the
So
mohawk.
I assume he's going to get a more sensible haircut down the line.
Ah.
But yeah, it's the moment he kicked him down the hill, I was like, oh man, I'm going to watch this every week.
It's like chill, and it just has like one or two like big jokes like that really fucking land. Yeah, it sets itself up very well.
The Corgi and the Samurai 1-1 episode 1. It's kind of got English subtitles, but they're not as bad as when you just say auto translate.
Yeah,
but they look like they've been translated from the automatic Japanese captions. So
right. It's too stiff or something, is it?
The timing's off. Is the same as always on those automated. When YouTube does its automated captioning, it's like when you'd watch the news and you'd have the CFAX subtitles on.
Yeah, it's doing its best, basically.
Yes, just like seconds off. Anyway, it's Aki Atsuka. It says Aki Atsuka version, so I wonder if there's going to be multiple versions with different people playing. Oh, there is. There's now a Tomokazu Sugita version as well, so you can have your favourite sexy old men respond to a Welsh corgi. Yes, the Welsh corgi won't stay in his house. Yes, he's built a house for it. It won't go in his house. It will go on his house. It will go around the house. And then he puts it outside and it knocks the door onto his head. He's about to get mad at it, and then the Welsh Corgi does the face that a Welsh Corgi can only a Welsh Corgi can do, and he's like, "Oh, I can't be mad at you." Yep, it's about, what is it? Just under 95 seconds, I think it is.
I'm probably going to have to give this a go despite terrible subtitles again. It's just because if it's short enough and understandable enough, then how bad?
Yeah, a bit more than that. It's 105 seconds. Yeah, it's short. It's got an English title, so are these subtitles better now than they were?
Okay.
Oh no, the English ones have disappeared now. Okay, they were there earlier. They've gone now. Have they moved over to the other version? Subtitles, no, just says Japanese auto-generated now. Oh well, so that might be the one and only time I watch it, unless someone's found something it. I've not checked that. Or if it's shown, it may have shown up somewhere else. I haven't checked. Is it Muse Asia? That's where we used to find the mole cars, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I might have to check there, see if it's on there. Anyway, what is translated is Negative Positive Angler, episode 2, Fishing at the Pool, in which they go fishing at the pool. Because it turns out the amusement park rather, in the off season, they turn the swimming pool into an attraction where you can go fishing.
That seems unsanitary. I don't know much about fucking pool maintenance and whatnot, but I don't know.
I would say it seems reasonably sanitary after you put the fish in. I don't know how healthy it is to put the fish in the pool in the first place.
No, I mean more for the fish than the humans. Like humans, you just bleach the fuck out of that and you're grand. But like fish, they don't like bleach. Humans don't. You know what I mean?
Not big fans of chlorine. Yep, because he said that he hates fishing during this job interview for the
Because he's like,
supermarket.
fuck, they're really like, they've got their hook into me, they're reeling me in. But I'll just like, what I'll do is I'll say, I fucking hate fishing. Oh, I hate the stink of fish. It sucks. It's boring. It's a bad hobby, and everyone who does it is bad. Actually, he's like, brilliant. I fucked up that interview. The guy's like, well, that was my one question, so you're hired, obviously. And he's like, what? It's like, yeah, you can mind the shop while we're going fishing. Like that's what we needed, really. Honestly, someone who wasn't into fishing.
Yeah, but Hannah is furious at this. She's like, "How dare you say like this? I would need to take this guy away right now." And so half of the staff, even though it was only going to be Hannah and Tsunehiro,
It's funny because the boss is like, Hannah, do you want to get back on the counter? And there's only one woman on the till, and she's like, Hannah, can you get back over here? There's a lot of customers piling up. The boss is like, shit. But yeah, so
she
she's
goes
taking
fishing
most,
with the woman
most
who's
of the
left
staff.
on the till. She goes as well.
Yeah. So it's just the boss left on the till, I think.
Just
like
the
this
boss, and if the funny face guy works there, then he's
Yeah,
there
yeah,
as
yeah.
well. But yeah, everybody
yeah,
else is gone. Oh, and the
just
tall
very funny.
guy. The tall guy doesn't go with them either.
Yeah, okay. They do have some staff, which they probably have to ring a bunch of them in because they've all gone fucking fishing.
I think he's the brother of one of the other characters from the Wikipedia, not Wikipedia, the actual show's website said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she wants she's mad that your other guy said, Takaki said that he'd caught a bigger fish, or he hadn't actually brought it in, but he got a bigger fish on the end of his line than she did. So she declares a competition. Whoever catches the most at the pool wins. And it's basically
I also
him.
did like the thing of like, it feels like he's being nice to him at this, our pink haired guy is being nice to her terminally ill guy, terrible at names, because everyone was giving him shit for eating the guy's first fish. It's like, well, he didn't fucking want it. And he was just like, yummy fish. And everyone's like, dude, that was his first catch. You should have let him eat it. It's like, it's fine. It's fine. So it feels like he's being extra nice because he was kind of a dick, but maybe not. I might be reading into that.
And so they're just using like bamboo rods and live bait.
Yeah, and they're explaining like the difference of I can't remember that. It's not fly fishing. It's using the float kind of fishing. But yeah, there's no reel or anything. You're just like pulling it in, getting the net underneath it. Like very basic kind of fishing, but him kind of learning the technique and how incredibly boring fishing is, because yeah, that's kind of the point.
But once Hannah shows him how to do it better than the other girl had shown him, the other girl had shown him the technicalities.
Yeah.
That Hannah explains, like, no, you can't just, you've got to do a bit more than that. You've got to like move it so that the fish are drawn to it, and essentially gives you the instructions of how to fish, because it's exactly the same as how the only fishing I've done is in video games, and is exactly how you catch fish in Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's exactly the same.
It's a good primer. So yeah. I guess the difference is this uses like a float rather, and
yeah,
those games use a reel. But yeah, it's the same basic fucking principles. Even in video games.
Yes, it's like pull in the opposite direction to wear it out. Yeah, and so there's the fishing. At the end of the day, they've each only caught, even though she catches like a massive fish and almost falls in, and he stops her from falling in, and then apologizes for holding her waist too long, even though she's not bothered in the slightest.
Like he's like, oh, physical contact with a lady, and like he was very like intently watching, like, and she's demonstrating by example, sure, but she's like, oh, she slipped off the sandal, and her bare feet, like, she's using the grip of them to hold and it's just like, yeah, he's into her, but like he can't admit that, obviously.
No, and similarly, I think it goes the other way too.
Yeah, because like her kind of thing, it was like, so you did enjoy that, right? And he's like, yeah, I guess, and she's like, and then starts beaming. It's just like, oh, thank fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it is the B where you're like, okay, this is reciprocal, even though the pair of them are awkward and one of them's got a whole load of issues sitting on his shoulders that he's not sharing with anybody. Because yes, they do the cooking the meat, the cooking the fish, they have to gut the fish, which turns him all sorts of shades of blue.
See, that's the one thing that puts me off actual fishing as well. It's just like, oh, you just insert the knife into its anus and fucking pull it up to the gills, cut the gills, like don't fucking feel anything about it. I'm just like, that's gross. I was with him there. It's like, look at the other two girls, and they're just like, that's like gutting so many goddamn fish. It's nothing to them at this stage.
At least it's fresh. Not like my final year project at university, where I was letting fish rot and then cutting them open.
Like I assume even those like Norwegian fish that they let rot in a hole for like months on end, I assume they gut them beforehand because you really don't want that shit to go off.
All to say, no, you cannot measure the glucose levels in fish and make that a sign of how much decay they've gone through. At least not with our university's equipment. Yes, and then as they're going back to the car park, he runs into two guys he knows from university. He's mentioned that he's going to university and he's got like the tuition fees from his parents. And that's why he doesn't want to ask his parents for any more money. And then we learn from these two guys that he has not been attending classes.
Well, it's kind of like because he was holed up in his house. That is the explanation of at the start of the episode. It's kind of like usually they give you a notice when they're going to tear down the building, and it's like, yeah, the guys came up to the thing, and he was just like, oh, I assume they were debt collectors, and I didn't answer the door.
Yes, I assume he spent all his tuition at the pachinko machines. And then all the money he's borrowed, he's also spent at the pachinko machines.
And the two guys at college, like he's so like scared. He's like, "Oh no, I can't be seen." And they're just like, "Hey man, we haven't seen your own. What's going on?" You know, they're concerned basically. They seem nice.
Yes, they're not a threat. They should not be a threat, but they are a threat to him because he's running away from his own problems, and that means talking to people who might have an idea of what his problems might be. Whereas the other guys at the shop, Hyakki, like he treats him like, as he says, a lost cat. The bit with the cat, getting the cat to give him his paw and then getting hit by the cat for trying to do it. Man, that's a smug cat.
That's a neighborhood cat who's like, you're the intruder here. This is my fucking house.
Not as smug as the one from Double Decker. That's the all-time smug cat. But yeah, another good episode. I hope they don't drag out the not telling anybody about his problems for too long.
I feel like that's not going to be the thing that they end with, but a thing that it is
probably like episode 6 or something. Like,
and this one, it's kind of come to the fore of him realizing it's like, oh shit, people who might know what my shit is. So eventually, people are going to start asking questions. It's like, yo, dude, what's the fucking deal? What's going on with you? It's going to have to come up, yeah.
It almost convinces you that fishing might be a good pastime.
Probably not a good solution for terminal brain cancer, but
no,
seems like
we don't like I said, it's 2 years to live if they don't treat it.
If they don't do anything, if they don't like do something, then that's the solution there.
Yes, which I assume once he tells these people, then these people are gonna try and do something.
Yeah,
even if it means entering a fishing competition. Then I didn't watch it. I was tempted to watch it, but you did watch it. It's 365 Days to the Wedding, episode 2. What does it mean to get married?
You see, I watched the Not Gravedale High. I don't know why I'm making that out to be such a good fucking show. Like, but anyway, and I was just like, this is the same road thing as like, a bunch of fucking kids and stuff. I was like, I'm gonna watch a different adult anime that is on currently, and so I watched 365 Days to the Wedding. It opens strong because your man gets a call from an unlisted number that has like a modulation over the voice. You can't even tell like gender, as he points out, where it's just like, I know you're lying about the marriage. I'm going to fucking expose you and get you sent to Canada. Sorry, not Canada, Alaska. And he's like, who was that? And he tells everyone, it's like, fuck, that's pretty messed up. And it's like, I guess we got to watch out. It must be someone in the office because they know about the whole like Alaska thing going on. So it's someone inside the building. And soon after, a friend of his kind of goes over, or not a friend, a coworker, because it's like, hey, do you mind if I come over to your house later? And it's like, you've never came over to my house before. It's like, yeah, but like you'd be doing me a solid. You'd be doing me a solid. He's like, yeah, okay. And it's like, is it him? is he investigating it? So they plan to make the apartment look more like it's a couple's house, like his and her toothbrushes, like a lovey-dovey pillow, that kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, we'll set it up. We'll take a photo and then put it up immediately now, even though I think they're wearing the same clothes. It's just like, it's perfect. It's a flawless plan. They have not thought anything through. It's so funny how dumb they are. But anyway, the coworker shows up with another coworker, a guy friend of his and a girlfriend of his, and they've shown up to have another party of like, hey, congratulations on the marriage. It's like, so what brings me here today is, can you tell me how I get hitched? Like, how do I get married and stuff? Because you seem like you're in the know, because you're fucking hitched. Like, he's looking for advice, and your man's like, yeah, he's on loads of dating sites. So don't tell him I'm on loads of dating sites, and they're kind of taking the piss. And he has a little bit of our hero has a little bit of an existential crisis. It's like, is marriage that big a deal? Like, it doesn't seem that important, but everyone's treating it as that important. But they're all several fucking beers in at this stage. It's like, you're just being fucking melancholic. Don't worry about it, man. It's cool. Like, it's great that you're getting married. And it's just, he was genuinely looking for advice on how to not land a girl, but like get married, how to propose, because like you guys seem to have it together. And it's not the accoutrement around the apartment that tricks them into thinking they're a couple. It's the fact that your one is there and smiling and comfortable there, which is not a thing she does at the office. It's like, whoa, it's like you're so homey at home. This is great. It's like, I think there's a bit in the show where they like in the first part here where they're basically both. Well, she's walking home and he is at home, and it's like, I can't get too close. This is only a pretend marriage. I don't want to fucking start falling for the other person in my pretend marriage. It's like, you dumb pieces of shit, but that is the premise of the fucking thing anyway. Second part then is a guy shows up looking for him in the office, and he's not in. So your one kind of sees him is like, what are you looking for him for? I was like, oh, I'm his dad, and I heard he was getting married, but he hasn't fucking told me about it. And they're like, oh fuck, I forgot about parents, I forgot about family and shit. I didn't think of that. And the dad's really pissed because he's like, well, we're from this community, and obviously we have like a whole big thing. Is you got to get the traditional bridal clothes in. We got to get like make these little dolls, and there's like we've got to invite the whole community and the extended family and their extended family. So there'll be like 200 people or so at the wedding. It's like, if he fucks this up, it'd be great shame upon me and my family and that kind of shit. And she's like, shit, fuck, shit. I didn't fucking think of any of this shit. I have not planned anything through. And she's not even admitting it's like, yeah, I'm the one who's gonna marry your son, kind of thing. So she's like, I feel really bad. I'll leave him a note saying your dad came from out in the country on his desk, and I will meet him in a family restaurant. She kind of meets up with him and has a chat with him, and he kind of has the cliffhanger of like, oh, it's a message. My dad's in town. She's at my restaurant with my dad, and he's like, oh fuck, I forgot about my family. I forgot all that fucking shit. And that's the cliffhanger. And I'm like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the dad looks like a comedy Akira Toriyama fella.
Yeah, it's the squareness of him and everything.
I'm tempted, and the bit I've just spotted the bit where he's apologising to the cat for people coming round.
Is to get permission from the cat to let people around, and he can, unlike the fucking mushroom pup, he can interpret perfectly what the cat is saying. He's like, this cat is like, I'll tolerate it for an hour or so. Like, it's just like, that's what that look means from the stray that I recently adopted. It's a good show, but like, yeah, well, if I'll have time for it is another fucking thing, but I am enjoying what I'm watching of it.
And this is another one which is completed, so it should be paced pretty well. Mecha-Ude, episode 2, We Live in Completely Different Worlds.
Man, this show is good. Like, I was kind of worried about the choppiness of the action of it, but it's like, it's leaning into the comedy a lot. I'm like, yeah, that's the right way to go.
Yes, this relies on the she's like blue-haired girl from school mistaking Hikaru and Alma's relationship for being a romantic comedy situation.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this intense redhead is really into this guy. I gotta fucking facilitate this situation. It's like, okay, she wants to meet you after school in this like challenge to a duel letter more than a romantic confession letter, but that's how our other schoolgirl has interpreted it. And she's like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking stand guard so they can do all their confession kind of stuff. And when she later opens the door and you one straddling him, it's like, I didn't know it was going that way, man. Okay, I'm just gonna fucking close this door. You two kids have a good
time. Meanwhile, there's 2 low-ranked members of the evil organization sent after them. One's got a sound-based arm, and the other's got a sniper-based arm.
Yeah,
And
he's
through their
very
fights,
vampiric kind of looking, and I guess that's like the sound like a bat kind of. Yeah, it's thematic basically.
and through the fight, we learn that the Kagami group are there. What's the phrase they use? They're like enslaving the mecha.
Shackled, I think.
Yeah, shackled. Yes, they put shackles on them.
Like initially, the shackles just look like those little rubber bands you wear on your wrists, and it's kind of funny because this has the contrast of if you throw those on one of the arms, they become like inert. But your man's sound-based power doesn't affect the arms whatsoever because arms don't have ears. I don't fucking know, but it affects like the human inner ear kind of thing. So it's the idea of human weaknesses and mechanical arm weaknesses are completely different things. Yeah.
Yes, and luckily we had a conversation earlier about noise cancelling headphones.
It's such a simple solution to like the standard. I've got sonic based powers, like I got noise cancelling headphones. It's like shit.
But their plan was just to be a distraction. They did not expecting to actually have to fight anybody when they got to the roof after Alma's caught by the pair of them. But yeah, they fight. They destroy a building. And then at the end, Hikaru
it was a part of a faculty building that was going to be destroyed anyway. They haven't technically done property damage, so it's all good.
Yeah, they're taken to meet the resistance group Arms, who Hikaru begrudgingly at the end says, "Yes, I'll fight alongside you." And then they're like, "No, we don't need you. We just need
the arm on you."
Yes.
Because as one notices in the early part where she's doing her confession, is just like she's like, "Wait a minute, your arm is attached to your fucking hoodie. It's supposed to be attached to like your body. Like my one's attached to my hips, which is why I got the short skirt, arms coming out underneath it, kind of thing." It's just like, okay, that's weird, but we still like you do need to be near it because he's like, "Hey, if the lights start turning off on him when I walk away from it," she's like, "Don't fucking walk. He'll fucking die. What are you doing?"
I'm switching Aki and Alma's names. Yeah, so whenever I said Alma before, I've been saying Aki. Alma's the arm, Aki is the redheaded woman.
You know the arms guys have arms-based names because when he meets his counterpart in the leader, like his arm looks exactly the same except slightly cooler, and his name Fist, which is
yes. Also, whoever the fourth party has stolen the man-made Mecha-Ude.
Yeah, it's some sort of wire-based one or something. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume it's the guy with the green stuff in the opening credits. Yeah. So whoever they are is still at large and has now armed themselves, so to speak. As everybody does. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The two guys they sent after them are fun characters.
It's weird because they should be like villain of the week kind of guys showing up, but your man is just like, I love the way she doesn't give a flying fuck about me. That really turns me on, kind of thing. And just the thing of her trying to do the sniper shot is like, he's like, all right, I've knocked him down with my sonic wave. Get him with your sniper gun. He's like, you're in my fucking way. Move to the left a bit. He's like, oh sorry. And he's like him moving out of the sniper shot. And the simple thing of just down her scope, like the reticule in the middle is blinking. And I was just like, oh yeah, because it is like a thing, like it is alive, even if it is shackled and controlled, that kind of thing. Just a lot of really fun visual gags and everything. Yeah.
I assume that somehow, because they haven't really established why, even though he's degreased to the hoodie rather than Hikaru, that he starts getting weak when Hikaru wanders away.
His life is connected to Hikaru, but the only thing I can think of is he like attached to like some dandruff in his hoodie or something? Does that count? That would be weird if that's the case, but yeah.
Then we've got Trillion Game Episode 3. You'll win, won't you? In which they enter a security contest.
Like
contest.
a hacking contest. Can you break this level of security that we've set up? And it's an online thing, and you've like, you got Microsoft and other companies and corporations and big things like competing to see who can crack this this series of challenges and that kind of thing. What is it like? It's like 100 points for like the small things and 500 points for the big ones. Like there's a whole system for it. Yeah.
Yes, and it's not a sex competition as Harry thought it was when they said sex competition. Before that, they go out celebrating that they've got all this cash that was
Startup
given.
money, yeah.
Kirika now has the controlling share of the company.
Specifically, her condition was, I own 51% of the company. It's like, but that's a controlling share. It's like, yes, that's the fucking point. Like, you will still be my lapdogs. You will still do the things I need you to do, even if you win, technically.
Because it turns out, because the exact place they go drinking and the exact people they were drinking with all pays off by the end as all these people come and help Gaku.
It is nice because basically when it's him, it's like, all right, I'm entering, like they're at the thing with a bunch of like guys having an office party, and they're like, hey, we're all fucking drunk. You got to start on money. That's fantastic. I don't know what the fuck who you are, what you do, but we're all drunk and having a great time at this. It's a Oktoberfest, actually. I think it's what
it is. It is an Oktoberfest. Yeah. Great timing.
they just crashed this Oktoberfest office party, and everyone's grand with it. But like, when he sends him on it's just like, I've already entered you in. Check it out. I already put you in on my phone, and there's no limit to the characters you can put in for your team name. So for our team name, I've put in the heiress. Her name for the bank corporation has given us this much startup money. If you'd like to give us startup money, please email us at. And it's just like, that's their team name basically. It's just. It's wonderfully stupid, and him just sending the guys like, here, you can win this hacking thing, you do all the research while I go out schmoozing and partying all the time. It's like, is he taking advantage of him? And as you say, no, he's not. This is all networking. It's all very important stuff. He's doing the face thing perfectly well.
And he sold his watch.
Like, but you saved up so long for that watch. It's like, that's fine. This is like, it's cool. Because we're going to be trillionaires, remember? And then we can buy whatever we want once you have $1 trillion.
Yes, because it's like, where do you get the money for all these drinks? That's how we did it. Yep, it's another good episode. Then it's the same thing we all love about Dr. Stone, but applied to something else.
These people should be assholes, and even the fact that he kind of goes, it's like, well, I'm just like one guy, and even me going after the big prizes for the hacking, because I'm like, a lot of the big fucking teams from like Sony and whatever are going for lots and lots of small targets so they can build up really big score, whereas I can only go for the big ones, the hard ones, because like I'm one guy. I can't do the multiple fucking small ones the way they can. And your man's going like, that's great. I've been schmoozing with all these other guys who are in the tech industry, so we're going to cheat. I have 100 people on a fucking Skype call right now, so like just going nuts, just rack their brains for solving these things. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck it, we'll give it a shot. And he's like, those are the people he was drinking with. Those are the people he sent me photos of him drinking with. It's like, yeah, he's been between, like, even if they're not the best in the tech industry as the top Google fucking hackers and that kind of shit, these are like 100 fucking people on against teams of 10 in the official fucking thing. They don't know how many guys we have. Fuck them. Cheating. And you're rooting for these guys who are literally cheating at a competition because they're the underdogs, essentially.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's got that just wonderful functional animation. That it's never going to try anything too dazzling that it will come undone.
I was worried about the character designs not really working, but like, yeah, keeping it simple like that is really doing a lot of favors.
Then the Noble Farmer episode 16, Bear Storm.
I was not thinking that I watched this episode already when I was watching it, because I was just like, wait, weren't they talking about bears before? It's like, that's because bears are interesting, basically.
Yes, and she lived in Hokkaido. So first of all, they talk about Oso 18, the elusive ninja bear that attacked at least 66 cows in Japan, according to CBS News. Because apparently this bear did not behave in the way normal bears do, and so it was harder to track and kill. And then we get like a little flashback to historical times of like, this is how you normally track a bear. It will come back to its kill, and it will come back in a certain way, so you can predict.
They like taking the same routes that they're familiar with. It's
getting Golden Kamuy flashbacks. Watching that section, then there's like a discussion of like whether you should kill a bear or whether you should tranquilize a bear, and
then bring it back to the wild kind of thing.
Yes, and what humanity can do to stop encouraging bears from interacting with humans. It's mainly the humans' fault. It's not the bears' fault.
I didn't mind the kind of like lack of preservation from a character who is literally she grew up on a farm, so she knows
Yes.
she knows the danger of bears, and just the idea of like, so you need a veterinary license to use sedatives and you need a hunting license to shoot bears. There's not many vets who go hunting, and even then it's like, are they going to be that good at getting the bears that are currently charging you? It's just like, yeah.
And then the story about how when she was younger, she thought she'd be able to fight a moon bear.
Because it's smaller. Until she saw a news thing, it was like, yeah, Moonbear, this is slashed up my fucking face. I got 47 stitches. She's like, probably not then. Yeah, okay.
Then 80 more things to do. This one I barely watched, so I can't really remember what happened in it at all. The Stories of Girls Who Couldn't Be Magicians, episode 2. Maybe I can be a magician. Could do a magician fixing my computer, so I would have got this watched properly. Can you tell me what happened in this?
I will attempt.
Oh, good.
yeah, I will attempt to. Basically, it's your one is like, all right, so I do my own magical sigils. I don't like get them out of the app. Like, so what we're going to practice today is drawing sigils. All right, everyone draw me some circles, squares, triangles, and there's like, what, are you fucking serious? And she kind of just goes around the room, terrible. All of these are bad. Do it again. Like, and she's being a terrible teacher essentially. But because they, like, again, most of the class have not seen her literally do any magic and that kind of thing. So it's the idea that she's not explaining why getting them right and getting the flow of it right is so important. So good at it, but not necessarily good at teaching yet. So she has a practical like field experience kind of thing where she takes them out into the mystical woods and goes like, all right, everyone go and find me treasure. They're like, what? It's like, yeah, fucking treasure. Get me some treasure. And some of the students kind of take it a little better. Like I think the guy
I
wants
see
to be an
some of
opera
them are
singer.
saying, I see some of them are saying, but I don't want to learn how to do magic.
Yeah, because someone was like, I want to learn how to be an opera guy. It's like, if you're an opera guy, you can do magic. And they're like, okay, yeah. She's like, yeah, magic will help you build a railway. Absolutely, Kate who wants to build a railway. It's like, she's just fully confident that magic can do all the things you want to do, including the things, especially the things that aren't magic. It's just a universal skill, essentially. So some of the kids that she's convinced do find treasure to them, and it's clearly like they're just finding junk, because the kid who wants to be an opera singer finds some sheet music in the woods. Just one of them find they find various items related to their interest, which are treasures to them, but junk to absolutely everyone else. Meantime, our main character finds a chestnut because that's kind of like her name. I think is her logic of why that's treasure. But our hoity-toity girl and her two goons have been vine grabbed by some tree with vines that's grabbing them, and it's not in a sex way. I was worried about that, but she's just like, fuck, I've got an idea to do part of the elemental spell, and she manages to get like one element rune drawn in the air. But then our teacher witch shows up and does, I gotta just do all 4 elements, bam, 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 shoot it, and they see the teacher's like, holy shit, she threw those in the air while saving us. Fuck, maybe she's got the skills to pay the bills. So they're kind of on board more with the terrible teachings of our tiny child teacher so far. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I should check it out.
It's good. Like I wouldn't say like a lot happened, but I still found it like a lot of fun. Yeah.
I see there's some weird scientists with the owl.
That's the other thing. There's the guy who's like keeps turning into he's a dog, or he turns into a dog, and he shows up and he reports to a cat who does not turn back into a person and just meows instructions or something back at him. Don't know what's going on with any of that. The frog is clearly on the wizard teacher's hat, so it's like that's her familiar, I guess, or I don't know what's going on with any of that shit. But it is funny kind of just seeing the kids practice shapes on pieces of paper with a pencil while the other class are outside, like literally flying around on they're not brooms. They're kind of like drone. I think they're like dronies or something like that. They're like drones that have a stick that you can segue around on, but flying. They're like, oh, they're all fucking looking at the windows, like they're all fucking flying out there. They're on like day 3 of flying. We're still practicing fucking triangles. This is bullshit. It's like, gotta get the basics and the fundamentals down right first. Because that's the thing. The kid witch teacher, she points out, is like, it's like, well, we can't do magic because you're only allowed to do magic if you go to that course. It's like, no, blah, blah, blah. You're only allowed to use the app if you go through the magical course, if you can fucking draw magic in the air, no one can fucking stop you legally. Is basically her logic. It's just like, okay, it's a license to use the PDA of magic rather than a license to do magic. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, I will. We'll figure out what I'm not going to watch next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stuff.
that's the tricky bit. There's the tricky bit, particularly because I'm supposed to go to the wrestling on Sunday. See whether that happens due to travel and also me having a flu jab and a COVID jab on Saturday. So I may just be fast asleep in bed instead. Finally, we got Dragon Ball Daima, Episode 1, Conspiracy. So, do you remember the Meijin Saga? Because
it was weird for me because like Shan said he'd watch it because he's more interested in Dragon Ball now from like Super and everything, but never a big Dragon Ball fan, but like, and it was just like, oh, this is a lot of recap, and I was like, yeah, but this is fine for me because I actually I think I kind of bounced off Z during the Majin Buu fucking stuff, and I was just like, just for time and shit. I think I was going to college or something. I don't remember what the fuck I was happening at that stage, but I was just like, I'm good for this. But so this recap, I was like, okay, yeah, so I'm caught up now, and then literally going like, hey, Kid Trunks, it's your birthday. What age are you again? It's like 9. I was like, okay, so we know where we are in the timeline. We're good. Okay. Or Super after Z. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Yes. So essentially, we get the recap because we're learning the recap through the eyes of who are these two fellas?
Okay, what's the devil guy called? Dabra?
Goma. No. Goma is one of them. Yeah,
because it's
Goma,
like abracadabra. Nah, bollocks. I can't. The names are throwing me now. Yeah.
Yeah, the new guys are Goma Degesu, Dr. Arinsu.
Yeah.
Neva, Glorio. Yeah, those are your new characters. So Goma is the guy who takes over being the king of the demon realm after Dabura dies. And he's like a little imp fella.
Yeah, so
like
he's
a
next in line
for the
king of hell, basically. But and his servant appears to be the brother of the Supreme Kai. He's like, oh, my damn brother getting Supreme Kai. He thinks he's so great. And I was like, dude, he's Supreme Kai. That's pretty high. Like, that's not the highest as we now know, but like it's pretty good in terms of positioning. But like it's the fact that it's a recap thing, but done through these guys' eyes does make it funnier. They're like, holy shit, is that a fucking Namek? What's he doing? You know, they're just like, they don't have a clue what's going on. It's like, how the fuck are those guys flying? They don't got pointy ears or nothing. This is weird. Their perspective is fun.
Turns out they've also got a sister who is a demon scientist called Dr. Rinsu.
And she's more concerned with the fact that the prior King of Hell has been, well, not deposed, fucking eaten by Boo. And now this guy's the King of Hell. Is like, I'm still gonna get funding for my shit, right? And he's like, well, I don't know, we'll fucking see. And she's like, don't like that. So again, villains playing off of each other. Yeah.
There's a senile Namekian called Neva who is in the demon realm, and he's made the demon realm Dragon Balls.
Which you can't get. There's only 3 of them because he's made Guardians for them, that stupid fucking Namekian guy. And it does establish as like, so King Piccolo thinking he was a demon, he was correct. Namekians are from hell. And then they went and colonized the planet in regular Universe 7. And so this is one of the original Namekians because he's just like, because they see that there are Dragon Balls on Earth in Universe 7. They're just like, oh, those ones aren't fucking guarded. Oh, that guy gives 3 wishes. Holy shit, we should get those Dragon Balls, as most villains tend to do as soon as they find out there are Dragon Balls on Earth.
Yes, so they do, and they turn everybody who fought.
Everyone who fought Boo and their friends, and like they go like, we can't make an evil wish because we're demons, and Shenron will be kind of like, not gonna do that. So they're like, we'll just turn them into kids. And I do like the thing with Shenron is like, what do you mean by fucking kids? No, like that's a very wide bracket. It's like, I don't know, fucking grade schoolers. Like, what about the people who are already kids? Do I age them up to kids, or do I like age them? Like, what's the deal? Make them babies. I don't fucking like. It's just very funny of Shenron being like, I'm not like the genie wish where I'm gonna like, you know, monkey paw type situation. You got to be specific about what you're wishing for me, which is nice of him. Yeah.
Yep. That's how it ends, isn't it, with them all getting turned into kids at the end?
Yeah, I don't think we kind of see them squash and stretch, but we don't see them as babies yet. But you've probably seen the designs floating around. Also, a bunch of these characters have been babies before, so you have a rough idea of what they're going to look like.
Yes, some of them started off looking like babies, even though they were like 15 years old.
See, that's the other thing. They do establish that Saiyans, they have a growth spurt at around 15, and they're like, except Vegeta, it's like Vegeta's like, shut the fuck up, like leave me the fuck up. But I'm glad they do establish like we're going to turn the kids into babies and the adults into kids, because other than that, Goku would look exactly like Goten. Like it's just like it'd be a 1-for-1. You wouldn't know which one you were talking to at any stage.
And in case you don't know what the series is going about, they spell it out over the credits in the song.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're going to have to go to hell.
Well, see, that's the reason he turned
the demon world,
our new demon king, turned them into babies in the first place. Like, if they kicked Majin Buu's ass, if they come to hell, they'd probably kick my ass. What if I turn them into children, so that, you know, like children are less strong than their adult versions, presumably. So yeah, that would sort it out, like temporarily, but like it would sort it out. You got to admit. That's the logic of it. So they are going to come to hell and kick his ass anyway. So yeah.
Yeah. I like the old here's the theme tune. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen in the movie. Oh,
yeah.
Like Turtle Power for the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
You got to rap what the plot's about. Like, explain it to me with a rap. That's fine.
It's ideal. They should do that for everything. Spoilers be damned. That's it. That's too much stuff. So I'm going to watch Ranma.
Yeah.
I might watch The Orb. I'll see about that.
Sounds pretty good. I'm going to have to check that out, yeah.
Let me colour these in so I've got an idea. Ranma for sure. That's one. Chibi Godzilla doesn't really count because it's so short.
Yeah, I'm gonna count Mecha-Ude as well for the sake of it, since it seems simple. Terrified Teacher has lost me after episode 1. It wasn't super bad. It's just like there's better things happening easily.
Dan. Negative, positive, angular.
Mushroom Pop, if you can manage it, I suppose.
That's what I'm not sure I'm going to manage it next week. But I feel like that might be a show I can just dip into without too much worry.
Mechanical Arms.
I think if I'm being sensible, this is what I'm going to watch. Ranma, Sengoku Youko, Dan in theory, but I've already seen episode 3, so I might squeeze something else in instead of it. Negative, positive, angler, Mecha-Ude, Trillion Game, and Dragon Ball Daima. That's already one more than I'd like to be watching. I feel like that's probably my ideal limit. Anything else which gets watched is a bonus, but I think that's
fair. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a good problem to have, of like too many good things. I also watched the next one of Magilumiere, and it still made me go like, yeah, this is good. I'm probably just going to keep reading the comic, like that kind of way, you know?
Yeah. Because I'm obviously negative, positive, angler. There's no comic for me to read. Same with Mecha-Ude. So it's like, those for sure, definitely staying on the docket because I like them and they're anime original. I want to encourage people to do that more often, please.
Like, if you're not going to be an anime original, which is generally quite often good, like be a finished series, which is the other thing a lot of things are doing this season. Because, like, you can time it better then.
I think, strictly speaking, Dragon Ball Daima is anime original. It's not adapting existing material. It's using existing characters, and it's filling in a gap in continuity nobody wanted filled in. But I guess the ideal ending for it should be that the Pilaf gang then get the idea to turn themselves into kids from the story of this.
Yeah. Like, again, it's a story that doesn't need to be told, but if we're going to have fun doing it, it's not a problem. Like, and it seems to be leaning into the fun thing with that whole, like, he has to ask a giant mechanical fish permission to leave hell or something. Like, it's weird, man.
Yes, yeah, it does seem like there'll be some weird functionality of hell.
Yeah.
That's it for this week. Don't think there's anything new coming up on the horizon. I think this is it for new stuff now. He says, double checking something
Worth double
gonna
checking.
turn out, but oh, there's that One Piece one-off thing, isn't there? One Piece fan letter.
Yeah, I seen that. That's the one with the kids, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
October 20th. That one is.
Okay.
Oh, and that Blue Maburu, that was possibly, I was going to check that out, but I don't think I've got the time to. Plus, it's a comic, so I could just read the comic. Anything digitally? I think Banana Around the World. I think that dropped 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So I might check that out to see if it's got better again. Obviously, it's not good. I don't think it's ever going to be as good as the first season because your fellow who narrated that isn't able to do that sort of thing these days. So we shall see. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Niall. Ta-da for now.